Wow, it's another West London Wednesday, and it's a Wahoo RGT week as well. Really looking forward to this one. This is a brand spanking new course for this series, Series 7. This is a 7-lap crit even, around Brunel University's campus, or around the outside of it. I think we can have a look at the stage. This is stage 3. You'll see it's a fairly short course, about 2.4 kilometres. As we start inside the campus, take that right hand. There's a slight rise there. Most of the rest of it is flat as we go down the Uxbridge Road here, turn down the Greenaway and back down Cleveland Road, which was once the finish for the crit race locally some years ago, about 40 years ago. There'd be crit racing along there that finished just in front of the university and back round. So that's the course. It's fairly flat apart from that little rise just after the start, after you've done a bend. So we might see some attacks there. 7 laps, as I say, so people can work it out on the way around. 1 minute 57 to go. Let's have just a little remind ourselves of the leaderboards. Now, these are just the leaders in each category. Snaver from R3R. Now, R3R quite dominant. Jan Vandenord is second. Alison Alpine from Glasgow United in third. Bert Soderberg and Stefan Bellio from OTR next. And look, it's R3R again with King Tubby and Evan Oysterson. Angelo Barrow, Rob Miller from R3R as well. Sam Josh, Ben Van Val and Grant Webb making up the 12. There's about 90 riders in the series so far. R3R dominating the teams, but look at Glasgow United. There's only a few of them, but they score every time. Moon Riders just on the coattails there above Team Sands, South Africa, New Zealand, basically South Africans living in New Zealand. And OTR just behind there for the West London clubs and the Ratio Racing boys. RIAC and Pedlars making up the numbers. Ladies teams, West London off to a good start this time. RIAC won it last time. West London the time before. West London in good form. But I think we better watch out for Chantel Mendes. I think she's flying at the moment. But I believe that Eileen Davidson's on the start line. So I think we could have a very, very good tussle between Chantel and Aileen. We'll look forward to that. Aileen was telling me, though, that she's finding it rather hot this evening, which, when you come from Scotland, I think is relative, but we'll take her word for it. Anyway, 29 seconds. Here we are, Brunel University crit course. As I say, this is about 90-degree bends. Remember that Wahoo RGT does... It brakes you automatically on the corners, so there is an effect from the bends, and that does make for interesting racing, and it's one of the reasons we love Wahoo RGT. There's a start line. Everybody's pedalling. If anybody's silhouetted, they're not pedalling at the moment, but I can't see any silhouette there. Everybody really gearing up. 2, 1, here we go. They're off, flying out the blocks. Now remember, they've got this left-hand bend at the beginning, and already the leader's flying off, just trying to break it up. See Rob Miller, Eileen Davidson in there, James Melville, Glasgow United. There's the first bend. Up this little ramp now, 2.2%. It's not very much. It just goes up to 3 there, round the bend, and now it'll be downhill. It's 4 at the top of that climb. That's actually a roundabout in real life. It's great the way that these magic roads make these courses into races for you. And Johan Olofsson from South Africa, New Zealand, is off the front at the moment. He's Jan van Beurs just behind him, R3R. Oh no, sorry, Ratio Racing, I beg your pardon. Stevie Cooper in there in 3rd place for Glasgow United. Josh, Carl Dickerson riding for Sands now as well. Grant Webb, who's up there in that top 12. Alistair McAlpine, as we know, Holton, Herzogberg, and Yep Snaver up there. Now Yep is leading the series at the moment. He'll want a good showing. This is wide open, this series, as we look at Johan. Johan, as I often remark on these things, has had some input over the years. We've been running these, and some of the courses and ideas are things that Johan suggested to me. So he's very much part of the family here, riding from New Zealand. So it does more of the summer ride, the Northern Hemisphere summer rides, than the winter ones in the Northern Hemisphere, if that makes sense. So Mark Rowbottom now, Ratio just going out on the front there, and he's renowned for doing. Now look at that, there's a breakaway group already in there. We're looking at probably 20-something riders, I think. I'm including the 3 that there's a little bit of a gap, but they're closing it and getting back on. But it is strewn out, which suggests there's pressure being put on the front. This is the halfway stage on the lap, so this is lap 1, and Caruso is off the front. No, he's not. There's somebody in front of him as well. So Caruso, the top rider as well. Watch out for him. This is getting very, very stretched. Here we are, Caruso here, Braviart, just off the back though, needing to get back onto that group if he can. And you can see he's got a little bit of gap back to Canay and Brett Smith. I see Eileen Davidson and Horton in the next group. Can Caruso get back on the Italian, fighting hard now, putting out some watts to do it. 29th, Canay is not going to make that up, I don't think. And Caruso might just do it. Looks like he's on from a distance. We go back to the next group. Eileen Davidson there and Brett Smith in the West London jerseys. Caruso agonisingly off the back. That braking on the bend probably just dented his chances. But look, he makes the connection. Fantastic. He's back on, but no let up because there's a gap between the next rider and him. And Salvatore Caruso now has to do it all again because the rider he caught drifted off the back, but look, he's doing it. Absolutely fantastic riding. Jones there now getting into that situation where he's got to fight hard to get on. But it looks to me as if the gap is widening. So Jones, the Welshman, it's drifting off the back. He'd do well to let up a little bit and get it into the group behind and work with the others. That has gone now. I don't think he's going to make that up. How far back in the next group? Well, it's one rider just catching up with Jones, and it's, my goodness, that's James Melville. That's not James Melville, surely not. No, it's Canay, isn't it? Sorry. Melville's in front of Jones, as I'd expect. And this is the group I was really expecting those two to get in with. They were Andre Krajewski in there for Ratio Racing, Brett Smith, Eileen Davidson, Parsons as well, Finelli, Mike Wareham in there by the looks of it as well. So that's not a bad little group to be in. This is effectively the second group on the road, although I would expect the front group to split more during this race. And possibly as we go, we're in lap 2 now, by the way. This is just going up that little ramp in lap 2 for the second group on the road. Jep Snaver, the leader of the general classification at the moment. You can see the bends effects on here. He's taking them quite smoothly. Mark Rowbottom chasing him down with Josh, the Canadian, just behind. I think it's too early in the race to read too much into this. Interesting that nobody's following Jep's wheel there. They're all on the right-hand side. Remember, Wahoo RGT has steering. Jep goes over to the right-hand side because there's a bend. You do get an advantage on the inside, and if you switch the steering off, it will sit you where you're sitting, and it's not necessarily going to give you the best result. Mark Rowbottom now just easing up to Jep Snaver's wheel, but there's still a little gap behind. And this is stretching things. And this is a tactic we've seen in recent series where the front riders will push out on the front. Whether or not they consider their burning matches or not, I don't know. But what it does do is it thins the group and they have less of a lottery in the sprint finishes. And I would say that in the early days of Wahoo RGT, sprint finishes are what made these races. Now it's the attritional race. The tactics have changed immeasurably. And we've been doing it over 3 years now as they go round halfway point on the second lap. This is the leaders. Mark Rowbottom now in front. Jep sitting back, getting into the crowd. Rob Miller in there. Grant Ware, Alistair McAlpine, Carl Dickerson, Wouter Clays. We haven't mentioned him yet. The Moonriders star is in there. Francois Ike as well for Moonriders. 2 class Belgium acts in this race as Marianne Marasek now is looking to bridge that gap. The pole catching up now with Mark Rowbottom. Mark steering around a little bit just so he can't get on his wheel. Marion is going to go past him actually, so Mark might sit on his wheel, but in fact that's had the effect of dragging the pack back up and everything comes together in that front group. Wouter Clay sitting comfortably in 9th. I think he's probably going to bide his time. He hasn't shown on the front yet. We've seen the usual suspects on the front, Marion Marasek there and Mark Rowbottom, the 2 Ratio riders now working together. Now Ratio are a well-organised team and they will be talking to each other, and this may be to see if they can force a little bit of a breakaway by working together. So this will almost certainly be coordinated, and you can see they've got a little bit of a gap, but Johan Olofsson, who likes to charge off the front, is actually leading everybody back. But look how thinned out that is. The number of riders has diminished. Whether or not that's still probably around 20 riders, I'm guessing. But I think this attritional riding is going to knock people off the back. But the big names are all in there. Per Soderberg, Grant Ware, Alistair McAlpine, Kenai, Naraset, Rob Miller, Soderberg, Simons, Johan Olossi, currently now on the front, alongside, so we've got Soderberg and Simons there in that little group. So 4.9 kilometres to go, 11 left to go, as they come up to the start-finishing line once again. And this will mark the end of lap 2. So they'll go around and go up that ramp again a little bit, and whether or not we get attacks on that. Already lapping riders, look at that, there's a Moon Riders, somebody at the back there, not sure who. Don't worry if you are getting lapped on this, because I would expect people to be lapped on a short crit race of only 2.4 kilometres per lap. Actually, when I've ridden in these and got lapped, I think it's quite interesting watching the fast group go round. The idea is you shouldn't interfere with their race, but I think it's not unreasonable to sort of kind of tack on the back as long as you're not sort of getting too much in people's way and things like that. And with steering today, there's probably an argument, probably arguments both ways actually, but I would probably argue that people can get around you if they've got the steering switched on. So look at that, it's bunching up at the front, but it's leaving a couple of people off the back. Interesting, when I get back on, it doesn't look like everybody's going to get back on there, but we have to wait and see. Love these aerial views. You get an idea again of the bends here, and that group quite tight, but I think everybody who's got dropped off that group is now probably not going to get on it. Of course, I could be misinterpreting that. Of course, the people that just behind could be lap riders. Can't really tell from here. So that's lap 3's halfway stage as they go under the halfway banner, and Mark Robot and Per Soderberg up the front there, leading the way. The usual suspects, and I see Smith in there as well, who we haven't mentioned yet. A. Smith there, riding in the orange jersey, British rider, and so on the front there, Anthony Smith. And he's just been overtaken by Per Soderberg, who's riding for OTR in the green, black and white. Moon Riders are also green, black and white, but they've got a band across the... You can see the Moon Riders rider on the right, just out of sight, actually. Just coming through now in the red helmet on the right is Moon Riders, of course. Per Soderberg, OTR in the other black, green and white kit. So, and obviously a very popular colour coordination scheme. Richard Riak is in there. Richard Ackers, Francois Ike. It's the first time we've mentioned him now. He's the Moon Riders rider. Francois hasn't been in every race recently, but it's always great to have him in there. Fantastic rider from the Wallonian part of Belgium, I believe. Certainly got a French-sounding name, so I'll guess that. And these two, Mark Redbottom and Francois, are pulling away a little bit on the front. Jan Vanna in there at fourth, just behind Per Soderberg. And they're forcing the issue here a little bit, aren't they? I see Francois has dropped back a little bit as we come around and complete another lap. So Mark leading the way through there. In real life, of course, this is surrounded by buildings because it is a university campus, and you probably saw earlier on when we showed the route from the air. In real life, from the satellite pictures, you can see how built up it is around here normally. But of course, you know, we like all that. Now here we are. This is what it kind of looks like in real life. There's the start. They go up there, round that bend, and there's the little ramp, as you remember. So you can see it's quite built up. Buildings around most of the course in real life. That's the Cleveland Avenue. Then we go back into the front of the university, round that last bend, and the finishing line is just there. So that's there's a bend just before the... Oh, sorry, that's I'm on road out. There's a bend in the finishing line. So there is only a short sprint after the bend. So how the riders are going to play that? My feeling is you need to be out of front before that bend, because I think anybody who got caught with automatic braking, having to sprint and play catch up on that straight, is going to be in trouble. So I think people will want to be on the front if it is anything like a bunch sprint. And this group holding together quite well at the moment. Not quite halfway round, but it's a decent sized bunch. And it could get split some more, but we'll have to wait and see. Riak is Richard Ackers. He does wonderful training presentations on Wahoo RGT, which you can sign up for. Thoroughly recommend those. Also runs the React women's team, who are in contention with my own West London team for the Ladies League teams classification. And of course, Richard's team absolutely dominated the last series. So I think we've got a little score to settle there, Richard, in the most friendly way. Lovely guy. Lives up in, I think, Berkhamsted, if I remember rightly. Somewhere up there, anyway. Marian Marasek now, the pole, riding for Rassio off the front with Mark Rowbottom. Rassio once again coordinating their riders. They're just so good at this, aren't they? Absolutely so slick. We have to take our hat off to the Rassio teams. They've been stalwarts in these series over the years, and we are so pleased to have them. Interesting there that Marion didn't steer over and Mark did. And I think Marion might have got that one right, because Mark's come over to the left-hand side. Again, it's straggled. This denotes there's pressure on the front. Rassio guys have thinned it out a little bit more. You'll almost certainly lose a rider or two every time this happens. You just see how stretched it gets. There's no bunch. It's a long line. If you look along the bottom of the course, you see it's a relatively flat course, apart from that little brown bit in the left-hand corner, which is the ramp we spoke about near the start. But if you look at the spread of riders around the course, you can see this has got very thinned out by the way it's been ridden. Again, in the earlier days, we used to find sort of like 2, maybe 3 main groups, whereas I think we're getting more smaller groups, and people having little private duels further back. Now, one of the big things about this is we are focused on the front at the moment, and maybe we can have a look a bit further back, but we actually quite like the little duels that go on further back in the race as well. And part of the concept of these races is to encourage people to say, well, look, you might get dropped by the front group, but don't worry about that, because what will happen is you'll find yourself in a group further back, and in the group further back, you can have duels against people who are well matched with you. And we go back, Stevie Cooper in 20th with Grant Webb. Disappointing to see those two off the back, actually. That is disappointing. I mean, they've obviously fallen off the group on one of those pressure pushes. Both of these contenders potentially for the series, and certainly top 10 positions, and I think they'll both be disappointed that they've fallen out of the group. But they've got something like 280 metres back to Holton, the Norwegian, and Pinkston, the Belgian. So as long as they can hold that gap, they'll hold those places. Smith now, can Smith get onto those two, or is he going to have to wait for the next group, which is the Holton group? It's a bit mean when you're on solo here, because I think there's a group just behind, isn't there? A couple of riders just behind. It's much better if you can get in 3. I think he's going to let them catch him and tuck him and work together with the others. Ingvi Holton there, the Norwegian rider, about to be caught by Bersman Mail, and as I say, I think it's probably not a bad thing if he just accepts that he's going to be in that group with Pinkston, Van Mael, Nick Pinkston, Van Mael, and who else is in there? Van Beurs, and in fact, they're not all that tightly together, are they? So it's Jan Decker. Jan Decker in 28th. There's something odd about that, because Jan Decker is a top rider, and I would expect Jan to be further ahead than this. Something has happened there. Don't discount Jan actually catching the group in front of him, because he's an amazing rider. That is a bit of a shock to see Jan so far back. Andre Kajewski will be a little bit upset about being 31st, the Rassio rider, but he's got good company around him with Levy and Jones. If they can work together, they're not really working together at the moment. I don't know whether that's because some have got steering and some haven't. It looks to me as if maybe Mike Wareham all the way back in 34th, Finelli there, and Eileen Davidson at 35th. Looks like she could be in contention for the ladies' prize today. Who she got with him? Dicardi is in there as well from Team ADR. Not quite sure who's there. Bursons Buckley. I'm looking. I'm not seeing Chantal Mendes in the break there. So Eileen could be on for a win in the ladies' league here. Absolutely cracking stuff. She's holding her own, isn't she? Mannion and Buckley, and the next David Buckley, the only person ever. The only person who's ridden every single West London VR race ever, and I mean that from the first one I ever put on. He's never missed one. I think we're up to about 80 or 90 races now. Never missed one, David Buckley. Absolutely amazing. Brett Smith's now back in 44th. I'm not sure if he's in the UK or borrowing somebody's trainer. He did mention that he's having to travel for work. And as I say, he might not be at home in his usual conditions, but he's out on his own. Tobias Bjork just behind him, teammates as well. I mean, they could work together, but I think it's like 200 metres between Tobias and Brett, so there's no working together there. Marcin Studerak from Roslov is just behind Tobias, and Marcin looks like he's going to go around on the outside without even cutting across. Elliot Gianon in 47th and 48th there. Who else have we got? I see Andy Evans at 54th. Walker, the Scotsman, at 49th, just behind those two. Cheeseman and Gilmore now 50 and 51st. And we've got Brunel, Vasilotti at 53rd. Andy Evans at 54th. Canada 55th. Joanna at 56th. And Riley, I'm not sure. Oh, Caroline Mendes all the way back in 58th. Just in front of Harry Smith. She's not having a good day. Maria Witsky taking it up at 60 now from Puerto Rico. Funny enough, in the little chat we were having before the race, as we see Riley here, the chat before the race, Maria Witsky, she's in Puerto Rico and she was sweating buckets. And Eileen Davidson was in up near Inverness in northern Scotland, also complaining about sweating buckets. I should imagine the temperatures in northern Scotland and Puerto Rico are slightly different, but nevertheless, much worry about. Chantel will be a little bit upset about that. She's had some good results recently. That's a little bit disappointing. I wonder if something's affected her ride there. Harry Smith's one of the characters of the RGT racing scene, and Maria Itsky, and she is certainly one of the great characters. Absolutely love all her little chats on WhatsApp and everything else. Runs a club out there, coaches a lot of people in Puerto Rico, does a lot for cycling out there. Absolutely wonderful woman, and we're delighted to have her both on our team and in our races. So that's good. There she is, Maria Christina Witsky. So back to the front, and we see that this is really thinned out, and this is getting down to a select bunch of 4 riders. Wouter Clay's in there, Alistair McAlpine in there, big name Simons, the challenger. Rasmus Feldball is back in 5th, but a little way back, and Mark Rowbottom the 4th, making up his 4th. Now, these are some big names. Simons, Rowbottom, Clayton, McAlpine. Can they hold this out? 3 kilometres to go. This could be the decisive break. This could be a very, very interesting tussle. These are top riders. They're not going to let that gap close if they can help it. And it doesn't look to me like anything's coordinated behind. Nevertheless, Rasmus Feldball looks like he might be making up ground. This could become 5. Will he burn a match in doing so, though? 2.79 kilometres to go. Rasmus in 5th place. He's going to have to work to get on. Will he have anything left for the sprint? Looks like he's going to make it. This is an amazing catch-up. Really working hard out of the saddle, but they're not making it easy for him, are they? They're not making it easy at all. It's agonising. It's not quite closing the gap there as Rasmus looks at the back end of that 4, knowing that he's not far off. The pressure is on the front, though. Mark Rowbottom knows how to do this. He's even stretching out the front 4. Simons in 2nd. Wouter Clay's in 3rd. Alistair McAlpine having a fantastic season as they go through for the final time. And we are on the final lap. I think Rasmus might just be losing it now. I think that gap's getting a little bit bigger. We go round the bend. It's up the slope as we go past the Uxbridge sign. If this slope can work to Rasmus's advantage, and don't forget he's had to work hard to get this close, and I don't think it has. They're round. They're going to pull out some gap here, I think, and that's probably going to be about it for Rasmus as you see them disappear down the road as he hits the hard, tough bit of that ramp at the top. Well, I say 4%. It's not particularly tough, but when you're at racing velocity, that can have a big effect. So we're down to these 4 now as they ride past some back markers. 1.9 kilometres to go. It's going to be between these 4. Rasmus is not going to make up the gap. Alistair McAlpine, Mark Rowbottom, Simons, and Wouter Clay's, the legend, Wouter Clay's. Lorenzo Simons, the Spaniard riding for Moonriders here, is making up the 4. Lorenzo, I don't think, has won a race in one of our series yet. I suspect most of the others have. I'm pretty sure Wouter Clays is one load. I'm pretty sure Mark Rowbottom has. Alistair McAlpine, I'm not sure, but he's had lots and lots of top finishes. So he's a regular at the top, certainly in the top 10 and occasionally top 3, I would imagine. But these top riders, look at that, they're about to lap Martin Schuderek. They must be going fast. I mean, Martin's no slouch. And I think that just tells you how hard this race is. 42 kph, 1.3 kilometres to go as they overtake another back marker, one of the West London riders as well. Might be Maria, actually. And at 1.8, we're coming down to the last stretch of the lap. That's the halfway mark. I don't think there is a Flamme Rouge because this is a crit race, but if there were one, we're about to hit it. 400 metres to the Flamme Rouge, and then we're into the last kilometre. That's it. No Flamme Rouge there, but we're in the last kilometre. 975 metres to go. Mark Rowbottom is putting the pressure on. He's got a few metres, but it's not enough on its own. He sits up a little bit for this bend, coasts around it, and the others just make up the gap on that bend. Mark steers it carefully, but everybody went round the outside. Not the most efficient way to do this. Wouter Clays now pushing up. Wouter is probably going to make a play for this on 700 metres. He can do it. We've seen him do this before, but he's not on his own. And look at this. Alistair McAlpine now is going forward. 620 metres to go. Alistair McAlpine put on the pressure as they go around that bend. Catching up with one of the back markers from the Canadians, Novi again. These four are still all in it, though. Nobody has been pushed out of it yet. Mark Rowbottom takes up 450 metres to go. And who's going to do this now? Everybody watching everybody else. You've got to keep your eyes open. Two Moon Riders riders in that group. Lorenzo Simon and Wouter Clays. This is going to be a good points haul for their team as well. This is going to sort of send them up the rankings a little bit. Mark Rowbottom's gone for it. He's pushed out. He's gone to the right. But there is a left-hand bend. It's not the smartest route. And Wouter Clays makes up ground on the inside of the bend. As I said to you before, the inside of the bend is advantageous. Wouter Clays looking slightly stronger, but I think Mark might just hold on. Mark holds on! Just! Absolutely fantastic. Oh, Mark just clinging on. I think another couple of metres, and that would have been Wouter's. Wow. Almost missing everybody else coming in. I'm going to horse. Oh, that was just absolutely amazing. What a tussle. Well done, Mark. Rob Miller coming in. Josh now. Brett Smith just finishing there. Or is he going through with another lap to go? Sorry, I'm not. Richard Riak there. Coming in 13th place. Great finish. Van Berg. Soderberg. Francois Eicher back there in 17. Crusoe did that amazing push out of front earlier on, remember. Coming in on 18th now. Stevie Cooper will be 19th up there, Glasgow United rider. Cole Dickinson's from stand coming around. Stevie Cooper now just with the finishing sight. He's got 26 metres on Carl. I can't see Stevie letting that one go. I doubt if Carl will contest it. He's probably got his eye on Grant Webb. Because they're neck and neck, and Grant Webb actually pushes out and takes that. Both teammates, of course, you can see from the same jerseys. Werner Lewin, Werner Ewing, I would say. Werner, I would say. Sorry, I'll get it in the end. Cheeseman just finishing up there. A. Smith now 22nd. Pinkston is going to be 23rd. Great finish. Well done as well. That's not a bad result at all. I think finishing any of these, they are intense. And look at this for a little bit of a sprint. Doesn't quite get to neck and neck. Negro now, the Portuguese, has got Horton just behind him. Is Horton sitting on his wheel waiting for his moment? If it is, it's got to be pretty soon or he's going to run out of road. I think he's going to run out of road. He thinks about it, goes to the left, but just takes the wheel and coasts across. But 29th position, let's have a look at some of the finishing positions at the top. They came in thick and fast, and we probably didn't give everybody their due. Yep, Snaver and Jan Vanna picking up points in 7th and 8th place there. Yushi Kanai at 9th. Rob Miller from R3R at 10th. Now, I mentioned yet because he was leader in the group, but look, this could be a little bit different. James Melville, Alistair McAlpine, I think Glasgow United picking up good points there. But it's at the top where Mark Rowbottom picking up points for Ratio, Wouter Clays for Moon Riders, Alistair McAlpine for Glasgow United, Lorenzo Simons for Moonrider. So Moonrider's got a good haul there. Glasgow United not far off though, with Alistair McAlpine and James Melville both picking up points. Rasmus Feldball picking up fifth, as we saw. Didn't quite make the junction. James Melville next. Jep Snaver, the current leader, seventh. Jan Vanner, who will be going for this. I think he'll be contesting the GC throughout this season, picking up good points in ninth. Yuchi Kanai, ninth. Rob Miller from R3R, who organises their teams and does a fantastic job of it too. Finishing 10th. That's our top 10. Let's get back to the race. So Mike Wareham now coming in at 39th. Finelli now just crossing the line, and Carty. Arlene Davidson picking up the ladies' 100 points, and we've got coming in next now. It's Mannion, the Irishman, on his own. David Buckley's only 10 metres behind, and David Buckley's got a ferocious sprint. Actually, Mannion's making a bigger gap. I think David's sitting up, not using his sprint today, coming in for Westerly. Jay Hay there, 42nd. Tobias Bjork. Tobias, it's interesting. Tobias now looks like he's overtaken Novi and Brett Smith. Brett Smith falling back a little bit. Here's Tobias now coming in for West London. The Swedish rider just crossing the line now in 43rd place. That's great. Novi now got in front of Brett Smith. So Brett's putting out some watts, I know, and I don't know whether he's within any shouting distance of getting up to Novi or not. We'll have to see. 100 metres, but I think with 90 metres to go, Novi's not going to let that one go, is he? So Brett's going to have to settle for 45th, but he should have enough on Walker now just to ease in at 45th. Walker will be 46th, and then quite a big gap back to Moonrider's rider, Martin Strudiak, as Walker crosses the line. Here's Martin now coming in 47th place. Another Moonriders. They do put out a good team, don't they? Looking at some of the places here, Craig Jones, Ingvi, Holton, Sorvo, Negro, 28th. Chris Horton, 29th. Jan Decker, all the way back in 30th. We'll have to have an inquest into that. Jan is a superstar on these races, so be interesting to know what the reasoning for that is. Philip Levy, 31st. Andre Gajewski from up in Manchester, beating Darren Jones. Pedro Cabramanca, 34th. Mike Wareham, 35th, Mark Pennerly, 36th, Paul Edvin Bersas, 37th, Claudio De Carli, 38th. As we watch some of the other riders, Vassilotti now 53rd, coming across the line. Eileen Davison at 39th, picking up the ladies' points ahead of Paraik Mannion from Ireland. David Buckley for Westerly at 41st, Julian Hay at 42nd, Tobias Bjork, West London at 43rd, and we know that Novi. Andy Evans coming in here 54th for West London. Great ride, Andy. Thanks for coming out for us again. Andy from Bushy, which is part of Watford, in just outside on the edge of London, not far from where West London Cycling are based, of course. And he is ahead of Riley, and Canada. It will be the next rider after that. Riley and Canada look like they could have a little bit of a sprint on, looking at the gaps, as we watch Andy Selham. 200 metres to go for Andy, and as I think I might have mentioned before, maybe not on this commentary, but Andy actually works around where his course is. He works in Uxbridge, where this race is set. So most of our races are pretty local. If you want something a bit more further afield, don't forget Chase the Yellow, which is coming up during July. Andy Evans crossing the line there. Chase the Yellow, look out for that. That's an RGT, Wahoo RGT competition coming up in July. The yellow relating to the Tour de France, of course. And 9 great stages of that. As you can see, a little trailer for it as we watch some of the riders come on. July 2023, Chase the Yellow on Wahoo RGT. Keep your eyes open for that. 9 stages. Some of them just going to be shown to you here. They do mirror Tour de France stages, but you won't be riding 200 kilometres a day, I can assure you. As we watch some of the other riders coming on. This is Riley just finishing here now as the adverts go on for Chase the Yellow, and why not? Chantal Mendes picking up second place in the ladies' competition there, coming in 57th, sorry. Galona is the next rider at... Jayona at 58th. Harry Smith's coming up after that. A great chat is Harry, the Netherlander, who'll be coming up after Giona in a moment. 150 metres for him, 76 metres for Giona, so this is probably about 200 metres actually for Harry. And then he'll be followed up by the one and only, one of the great characters of online racing, Maria Vitsky from Puerto Rico. As we watch Harry come in, Maria's got 600 metres back from Harry, and Harry's got 100 metres. He's sitting back, enjoying the view of the finishing line, waiting for the warm applause of the Avatar crowd as he weaves from side to side, making the most of this wonderful steering. Look at that, zigzagging around, soaking up the applause. The one and only Harry rolls in, and Maria coming in now at 60th, and I think she will possibly, no, I think there are some other riders behind, so there are other riders possibly catching up, I'm not sure. No, I think Kramer is stopped. So that's it, Maria grabbing that last and 60th place. Fantastic to have 60 riders out on a summer indoor race, and I thank each and every one of you for taking part, even if you're watching and you didn't race. Thanks very much for being with us. We love putting these on, and as long as you guys sharpen these sorts of numbers, we will put them on. Absolutely fantastic, phenomenal racing. What a finish! And I think if there's one thing I'm going to say after I've finished this commentary, I'm going to go back and play back that finish, because I just thought that was absolutely amazing. The way that Wouter didn't quite make that on the line. It's just going to be such a great replay to watch. You can get it, it's on Facebook, it'll be there for a while if you want to watch it. If we watch Maria coming home, well done Maria, we love you. Another great ride, and thanks for being with us. Terrific stuff. We're back in a fortnight on Wahoo RGT. We have other races, you can check them all out on www.westlondoncycling.com. And in fact, there's lots and lots of other cycling information on there, both for local riders and if you're from outside as well. There's some stuff will interest you. Oh look, we've got the replay. Well done, Damon. This is ZMS broadcasting for you. Absolutely fantastic. What a replay. Look at this. Mark just clinging on. Oh, that's probably a wheel length. Absolutely fantastic. Thanks for the replay. This is ZMS Productions, bringing you all the production work. I just talk. Reminder of the top 10. Mark Rowbottom by a slither from Wouter Clays at 0.034 of a second. Anson McAlpine a little way behind, but comfortably 3.3 in front of Lorenzo Simon, Rasmus Felpool. That gallant attempt to get into the front four didn't quite make it, thwarted by that little ramp. James Melville, seasoned rider, does it again and again. Yep, Snaver consolidating his position as a leader in the general classification. If you want to see the classifications quicker than I actually publish them, if you actually go to the westlondoncycling.com course, and if you look at the tabs at the top, there is a latest standings tab, and you can go on there and you'll get the latest standings straight away. So go and do that. It's been fantastic. Pleasure having you all with us again. We absolutely love doing this. Love having you with us. You're a great crowd. And let's make a really good summer of this, shall we? Fantastic. 60 riders. Absolutely amazing. Well done, guys. See you in 2 weeks' time, or maybe before.